Dancing tango without pain is really important to me because I dance tango 6 days a week. I teach lessons 6 days a week. I go out dancing. And now that I'm coming back from 4 months without being able to wear my tango heels because of a foot injury, I am realizing that there are a lot of things I do for alignment in my shoes and when I'm dancing in lower shoes that allow me to dance longer than a lot of people and without pain. So I thought I would just do a couple short alignment videos to show you the differences in dancing barefoot, low heels, and high heels. And also then I'll insert some exercises and stretches into this video to show you what I do to protect my feet when I'm not dancing. Okay, let's look at the alignment of the hip to the foot for tango. When I'm barefoot, as you can see, I have soft knees, soft feet, my toes are spread out, and what I'm doing at my hip joint is I'm aligning my hips so that I'm not hanging out of my front ligaments. This is really hard on the body and puts your weight on your toes. Instead, I'm folding more. This is the extreme here just to show you. I'm folding more here so that my hip joint is nice and soft and springy so I can adjust to different steps. My lower back is relaxed. This is the widest my lower back can go. If I bring my hips under, I start tightening my lower back, and then I start having trouble with my lower back, and I have a tendency to go onto my toes, which starts hurting my toes. In tango, these are the two main things I hear from, especially from women. My lower back hurts, my toes hurt. Why? Because your balance is not being efficient. With my hips a little bit more bent, a little bit more of an angle at my hip joint, my lower back is protected as long as I use my abs, and my toes are protected because I'm using my arch the best I can on my foot. So let's look at what that looks like when I have heels on so you can see the differences. Really, the only difference should be that I have a different angle at my hips to adjust for the angle of my foot on my shoes. So now I have my heels on. What you'll notice is that the arch of my foot is no longer in the same position as before. My knees still have to be released. My hip still has to be released. The hard part is in heels, it's so easy to arch the back, tightening the back and pulling your body onto your toes. So it's really, really important that you find the right angle at your hips, which will probably feel like too much of an angle because of how Americans stand, but finding a nice angle here so that your lower back is relaxed, you can wiggle your toes in your shoes, and you don't have anything grabbing in your toes, your knees, your quads. Everything from the hips down is springy, ready to move, but not tense. My arch is activated. This allows me a lot more movement potential than I would have if I'm here with my butt tucked under, my hips forward. This feels like straight up and down, but just try dancing tango like this for a while, you are going to hurt. This allows me a lot more movement, a lot more stretchiness. As you can see, it looks the same in the front. To the side, it has a little bit more of a tip. But again, I have a really big butt, so this is going to look like a lot of tip on me. If you have a longer body or if you have longer legs, it's going to look like a different angle. You have to find the right angle for you. After I dance, I always make sure that I stretch out my feet. There are a couple things you can do to your feet to really help counteract the fact that you have these little tiny shoes, because I have very wide feet. So I have only one kind of shoe that I use, one model of that shoe, and I have to let them warm up. These are brand new ones, so they haven't stretched out yet to my shape. So I separate my big toe from my little toes, and I get my fingers in there, and I rotate my arch and the ball of my foot gently using my hands, not my foot. Just kind of get all of the bones, there are a lot of them in there, get all of them nice and loosened up, get the muscles relaxed. This is one of the things I always do after I've been dancing. Another thing that I do is I use a ball like this, a massage ball, to roll the bottom of my feet. You can also put it on the floor and roll your feet on the floor on the ball if you want a little bit more pressure. This is great for after dancing or to even warm your feet up before dancing. One of the things I've had to do recently that I didn't have to do before is to really stretch the top of my feet. 4 months out of high heels and my muscles have forgotten how it feels to be in high heels, and I really have to stretch out the top of my foot and the front of my leg when I go dancing, and I try to do it also before I dance. Just getting that stretch in there, getting the whole top of my foot kind of warmed up, front of my leg. And if I have a couple of tight spots, I literally take a rolling pin to the front of my leg here and here, and it's kind of roll those muscles out and get them loosened up again. If you're having trouble because you tend to tense your feet, or like me, you are not having enough muscle, you're having to build up muscles for your heels and for tango, that's a great thing to do to take some of that pressure off, to loosen things up so that you can dance better. When I'm not dancing, I wear these awesome things called correct toes. They're silicone and they fit in between your toes. They come in different sizes, although you should go to the podiatrist to get them fitted the best you can. Luckily, the guy who designed these is from Portland, Oregon, so they're easy to find and easy to go to their office. I'll try to remember to put that in on the notes. So what I do with these is I just put them on, and when I'm not dancing, I just wander around in my correct toes, which helps spread my feet apart, spread my toes apart, get me a good balance, especially with the toe that I broke, because this toe does not want to spread out. It wants to go over like that and not move very far. So it's still working on getting mobility back and strength. The separators really help keeping that toe a little further apart and training it to be in a healthier position than it has wanted to be since it was broken. So I love these correct toes. They're about $60. They're not cheap, but they're really helpful, and you might consider going and trying some on, getting fitted for them, or even just going and getting a pair and seeing how you do with them.